Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Yes, hello there.
So, we just wanted to give you a quick update. And what we did do was put together one of the greenhouses that we got. Now, our moringa tree we're having issues with. We don't know what's up with her. She was only about 2 feet tall, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe about 3 or 4 months ago. She's grown tremendously, but she's not happy. And not really sure why. I might try to move her back into the house, but she's been probably about 100 pounds of soil right now, as I just transplanted her to a bigger container about 4 or 5 days ago. Yeah, today's in the 70s. It's not really been too cold. We've had some nights that have gotten down to the low 40s, but in here everything is fine. We have a lot more we're going to plant. These are actually plants that we planted back in June, and they're still producing. As you see, we have a lot of chilies, jalapenos, and stuff growing. Now that we've gotten a little time to get to know the area, which we've only been here 5 months.
Something like that.
Five or 6 months now. 5 months, I think. Yeah, we could get a better handle on what we're going to grow. And I'll probably have, say, maybe 4 or 5 jalapenos, probably about 4 or 5 of each type of pepper. One of the benefits of a greenhouse, and this one's 20 feet by 10 feet by 6.5 feet. It's listed as 7 feet, but it's really 6.5 feet. And the manufacturer is called Quick Tent, but I suspect that it's the same exact one that's done under many other names. No difference at all.
Right.
So this cost, I want to say $179 or $169. It's cheap. It took us about 3 hours to get up. With two of us, if you had a third set of hands, you could probably get it up in 90 minutes.
Yeah, a third set of hands would have been great, but we managed with two adults. It wasn't too heavy, so even if you have like a, I don't know, 12, 13-year-old child could probably help too, and another adult.
Absolutely. And, the thing I would say is if you're out there on the plains in Ohio, I was going to say Ohio because I was used to gardening up in Ohio. But say like in places like Nebraska and Kansas, or like what we experienced, over in the West with the winds, this will not last. This will not last. Now, the way our yard's situated, as you can see, a tomato plant doing pretty good. The way our yard's situated, one side of it is against what we call the cave. It's like a building that's about 25 feet by 20 feet. And, it's about 12 feet tall. So it completely shields this from a northerly wind. The house is about 50 feet away from this. And there's a big tree also, which shields it from the westerly wind. There's a 6-foot stockade fence to the south. That's going to give us some shielding. And then there's 100-foot trees to the east. So this gets only a southern exposure, really, and a western exposure. And, because of the blockage of the wind, I think it's going to do pretty good. Though we're going to end up fortifying it. We have plans to fortify it. So we're going to strengthen it. For $170, $180, I think it's not a bad thing to take a chance on.
And I would really love to hear how you guys fortify yours against the high winds and heavy rains, and how do you guys make everything? I mean, we have a good idea what we're going to do, but I'd love to see in the comments what you do.
Yeah. As you can see, some basil plants that are absolutely thriving. And we have some basil that we've been basically keeping with us since we were in the camper, I think, in March.
Yeah.
And it's still here and still growing strong and doing really, really well. So yeah, things are coming along. And again, we split our time with so many different things. We still have stuff growing in the back there. There's watermelon, there's pumpkin. I've added some frames, more frames to the raspberries and to the blackberries, which are doing great. They've grown much more than I expected, honestly, way more than I expected for them to grow this year. And we got to eat a couple raspberries,
Yep.
but we didn't really guard them so much. But we do have netting we're going to use for next year, because next year we'll have a solid, real crop come in. Over here, we just basically planted some mint, some peppermint, some rosemary, some lavender, and then we discovered a bunch of wild strawberries in this area too. So this was just a little bit of a trial and error, and a little bit of an experiment, really gearing up more towards next year. And you got an exterior of this greenhouse, and again you can see that we have the building right next to it. The building's to the north, so the building does not block any sun. This is the east, which has a row of trees. It does block some of the sunlight, but the sun's intense here. And then to the south, we have the stockade fence, which gives a little bit of a windbreak, as well as some big trees right behind it. And then we have the house to the north, or actually I should say to the west. So this is not a bad option. As long as it's not totally exposed to the wind, it wouldn't make it in a big windstorm. It wouldn't make it through a hurricane. It'll end up miles away. It is all basically aluminum tubes, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say that it's aluminum. It's really light. The whole package weighed like 70 pounds.
I like that about the aluminum, because I've heard a lot of things about the PVC and that cracking during the winter, so I was happy to see the aluminum. I don't know, there might be a little bit of rusting, but I think that's better than PVC.
Well, it is coated, so it should be okay. I think it'll be okay. Maybe it'll be a couple season thing. We'll see. Planning. We do have, unfortunately, in Nevada, we do have some 6mm greenhouse plastic, but I'm planning on just getting more greenhouse plastic, and then where anything would tear, we'll just fix it as we go. I've seen a lot of people also kind of build frames around it. We're going to definitely put basically footings in there that I'm planning on using both wood and like cinder blocks to make sure everything stays down. I think it'll do the job as long as we don't get like a crazy freak storm, simply because again it's shielded from the winds, because out in the open it wouldn't last.
No, it wouldn't last. So we're just doing our best with what we've got. Everybody has a different situation. Some people, fortunately, are set up really, really well, but then so many others are kind of in a similar situation like us. So we just want to show you what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And Zeke and Sassy are fine. They're just relaxing and enjoying the sun. And perfect 72-degree day. Couldn't be any nicer, actually, right now. Look at that. No chemtrails. Look, Mom, no chemtrails. Amazing, isn't it?
Strange. The sky is blue.
It is. Blue and beautiful. So, as always, guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Stay prepared. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.